Hey there, and welcome back to week 4 of our confidence boosting month. All right, so all of these things would be nothing if we didn't keep up with them, right? So, one of the things I want to make sure that you're doing every month when we do stuff like this, we break it down, but particularly for some of these confidence things, is I need you to make some notes. I need you to go back to some of these things, go back to some of these exercises, even go back to the quiz and take the quiz again, whether you're looking to see improvement or if you're actually trying to get ready to tackle a new area of your life, right? Go back, see what kind of things that you need, see what the kind of things you resonate. I think what happens with us so often is we go through lessons like this, right? And we get it and it improves in one area and we're like, great, that worked. And then squirrel, we're on to something new, right? And I do it. I'm guilty of it all the time. And, one of the things that comes to mind that I am completely going to butcher, but it's basically like, the good student, works on skills. The great student works on basics, right? That's not it, but you get the drift, okay? But it's that point, and we always need to go back and working on our foundations. That goes with us, our mindset, our skills. It goes for our dogs, like all of it, okay? So that in order to turn these into long-term skills, tools that help you, you have to incorporate them and adopt them in your regular life. So maybe I'm making this up, put a tickler in your planner 2 months from now to check in on your confidence, right? And maybe it's something you just do every quarter or every couple months or something, is you just check in on how's my confidence going? And then you check back in, well, I was working on this area of confidence the last couple months. How did I do? If I take the quiz now, how am I feeling about it? Am I feeling like I improved? Okay. So please, especially if confidence is something that you are working on, don't just do this and let this month be the end of it. Okay. It's really important that you continue to build it, you practice it, you maintain it, and you strengthen it just like any other part of anything else you're training. Okay. All right. So here are some suggested steps that you can take. The first is tracking your wins, big and small. Okay. We tend to remember the big wins and gloss over the small ones and write down neither. Okay. Because we remember the big deal ones, we can tell you where we were and all this kind of stuff. If I asked you about it, you can recall that. And the small wins, you're you tend to minimize them, especially over time. You're it's not that big a deal to you, but to me, there was this thing where I finally got my footwork, whatever. I literally had someone fix my footwork, as I was talking about the other week, and they called it out. They saw it on video. They were like, you're doing this. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been doing it for 15 years then, and fixed it literally in one session. It was great. Okay. That is a small win. That I'm not putting that on Facebook. I'm not, going to tell stories about it at the cocktail hour. But that's a small win, but it's kind of a big deal. And I want to be able to remember it. So that means I have to write it down. Okay. So you could even start a section in your planner that is like confidence log. Okay. And you're just writing down one win every session. Okay. Or maybe you make a habit that after every training session, you don't just write down oh, still couldn't get this or still was late in the da 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 da. You also always write down one win, even if it's tiny. Even if it's teeny tiny, even if it's remember to do something fun beginning and end of our session. Okay? Whatever it is, develop a habit about writing it down. And then on bad days, you can go back through those wins and it will remind you that, yep, I've come a lot farther than I thought, or yep, this is working, or the fact that I've been giving this my attention is really paying off. I don't feel how I felt. This is great. Okay. So track it. Okay. Because we know, again, why it works. Science says we're wired to remember the bad and we don't need any help really remembering the good. Okay. So a confidence log or a confidence habit rebalances that and gets us focused on more useful things, more things that are more constructive. Okay. All right. The second step I have for you is, again, remembering to train for confidence. We did it in that one little session, right? That was great. But like regularly set up those confidence sessions. Regularly start and end your training with confidence things. Every once in a while, if you have a bad weekend, then, especially that following Monday or Tuesday, well, hopefully you're taking Monday to rest, but like Tuesday, whether it's in class or in your backyard or wherever it is, do something fun and get your mojo, we got to protect our mojo at all costs. Okay. So set up those confidence building sessions. Also, celebrate effort, not just outcomes, aka process goals, people, process goals. When we're only measuring by outcome, it's very easy to get sad, right? Because we go into the ring thinking process and we come out of the ring thinking outcome. First of all, they don't match, so we don't have a good way to measure. And secondly, we're just right back where we started from, okay? Focused on the outcome. All right. The last one in this training for confidence is simulate, the competition pressure and start to train for resilience, okay? Because the more we practice feeling confident, the more natural it becomes, okay? So work on that as well. All right. And finally, think about how you can adjust your morning rituals, your pre-run ritual, whatever you want to call it, your crate to gate, whatever it is, that incorporates something repeatable, right? Something that you can do. Maybe it's your confidence anchor, okay? But we want that your repeatable routine to contain something that reminds you of your confidence or reminds you that you have the skills to do this, right? That reminds you of that. So it could be a mantra. It could be something you do. It could be the clenching of your fist and getting you into that confident zone. It could be, taking your deep breaths, doing your power stance, right? Hands on hips, really embodying, putting your hands on your hips or putting your hands in a position that your superhero version persona of yourself would do, right? That Wonder Woman stance is a science-backed thing. It has actual real results. Like they've actually studied that power pose, okay? Because it's so effective that scientists want to know why it was so effective. Okay. So think about that and think about what you can do. Even if you always go to the restroom before you run, power stance before you come out. Okay. Figure it out. Figure out what you can do to make it repeatable and stick to it. We tend to let go of, walk away from some of our pieces of our ritual when things are going great. Okay. It's natural. We think, I don't need that life preserver anymore, right? I don't need that. I was just doing that when I was weak or insecure. So I don't need that anymore. Lies. They become very grounding. They become very much part of our, just who we are and how we compete. So make sure that you are maintaining them, okay? Because that routine tells our brain it's go time, right? And repetition of that makes our confidence then a lot more automatic. Okay. So I want you to start thinking of these strategies and how you can make them your own. Don't obviously pick, all 7 or whatever, don't overwhelm yourself and try to make a habit out of 7 things at once, because you'll fail and then you'll be mad at yourself that you fail and you'll lose confidence because you, quote, couldn't even stick to this, right? So set yourself up for success. Figure out where you want to start with these and start really incorporating them on the regular and forever. Okay. These aren't temporary. Confidence isn't temporary. Like, think of how silly that sounds, right? It was even silly to say it. Like, confidence is not temporary. It's always something. Every time we level up, we go to the next, gaming level of this life, we're going to feel insecure at the next level. So we're going to need these strategies again. Okay. So this was a pretty exercise heavy month. Some months are a little more like theory, I guess, but these were some like very significant exercises that you should do. And so I want you to really go back, maybe listen to them again, maybe take some notes if you're not driving, obviously, and really think about how you can incorporate these and make them part of your like normal handling life. Okay? All right, that's it. And let me know how it's going in the group. That would be fantastic. Is to use a confidence anchor. So what I mean by that is an anchor is anything you tie to something else, right? We talk about habit anchors or anchoring a new habit to an old habit. So we're going to try to trigger your confidence by making it sort of on demand when you create an anchor for it. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose a like very small, repeatable action, okay, that you do regularly. So maybe it's, when you are a few dogs out, you always spin your dog, warm them up in some physical way, all right? Or maybe it's the way that you pick up your leash, right? Or you take a deep breath or something like that. So choose something that you do on the regular that you don't really have to think too much about, okay? So every time, now this is going to be backwards. You're going to think I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to say something else, okay? So every time you feel confident, I want you to do that thing, okay? So every time you feel great, take a deep breath, okay? Every time you feel great, maybe close your fist like you're closing your hand on your leash, okay? Every time you feel great, think about spinning your dog, right? If that's part of your warm-up. Okay. And even if your dog's not there, even if you feel confident in the middle of the, avocado aisle. Okay. I'm obsessed with avocados right now, apparently. But every time you feel confident, do the action. Okay. Because what's going to happen over time, who doesn't know Pavlov's dog, right? Over time, we're going to build the association between feeling confident and doing that action. And that's why we want the action to be kind of small, very portable, right? And that we can do because over time, we're going to link, I'm going to use taking a deep breath with feeling confident. So now it's going to start to work both ways. There is an actual law of reciprocity, right? That will go back and forth. So now whenever you take a deep breath, you're going to feel confident. So now whenever you need to feel confident, what are you going to do? You're going to take a deep breath, right? Now, thinking through this and knowing like this is the full picture, you probably won't choose, when I warm up my dog, because it's not that portable if you are, away from your dog, right? And you're not able to do that in that moment. But you could always take a deep breath, close your fist, touch your toes. You could do something that way that's just like a small physical gesture. Maybe it's just holding your own other hand or something like that. Or, there's a lot of little small gestures you can do. But what you're going to do is you're going to find confidence first and then do that gesture. And then you're going to build it that way. Okay? Because you can't really fake confidence in that moment, right? So if I was going to use my fist, like closing my hand, and then I'm like, I will want to feel confident now. Like that's not going to be very organic, right? And it's probably not going to work because my brain's going to be like, I'm sorry, what are we doing? But if I feel really confident, or if I just came out of the ring and like that was a smoke and run, whether or not we cued, that was a great run and really excited about my, footwork and my figure eight, then I can close my hand, remember that feeling and be like, yes, right? Yes. It's just that little pump of a fist. So then later when I need the confidence, I can pump up that fist and it's going to build the association. Our brains are both incredibly complex and amazingly simple, okay? They want that Pavlovian conditioning. They want, our brains want associations. They want those neural pathways to be really strong and to be the path of least resistance and to be really easy. So just like our dogs link those cues together and make the association that every time we pick up our keys, it means we're getting in the car, like you can do that. You can build these same kinds of associations. Okay, which is really pretty cool because again, now we have another tool, another way to have ourselves get into the feeling of being confident because we built an association. Okay, so this one takes a little more thought in terms of like what gesture you want to use or like what you want to do in that moment. But also don't overthink it. Okay, don't make it so complicated that you don't do it. Right? Don't make it so complicated that you're waiting for it to be perfect or whatever. Like, who cares? Just the act of you trying is going to have an impact. Okay? All right. So I want you to try those. All right. So I gave you 3 different borrowing confidence kind of exercises. One is tap into that alter ego, figure out who that is for you. The second is borrowing someone else's confidence, another handler you admire, another person. And then finally figuring out what a confidence anchor, what you can anchor to build your confidence and to like almost call it up on demand when you need it. Okay? All right, try it and let me know how it goes.